And so I said, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Whoa! Nice.
Whoa, we're live! See how much more energy I put behind that?
Hi.
That's what I need.
I'm Daniel from the Slalt Cast. I'm joined today by...
I'm Kobe from the Slalt Cast.
I'm also Kobe from the Slalt Cast.
He's not Kobe. He's Caden from the Slalt Cast.
I'm Verum.
No, Verum is not a person. It's a property.
It's an idea.
A business.
It's a state of mind.
So Verum built this in a cave
with a box of scraps.
A box of scraps.
For those of you listening to the recorded episode and thinking, why is this so scuffed? Why do they sound like and look like, because we're on YouTube too, that they want to die? It's because we're doing this on Twitch, but this is the first ever live recorded episode of the podcast. The people in the Twitch chat who've just heard us talking about this for the last 20 minutes are like, we know Daniel, you moron. And I'm like, shut up, it's a podcast.
It's a card based.
So, Caden, we had you on last week for the first time in like a couple weeks.
In forever.
Yeah, and then the podcast ended and you were like, I didn't tell any of my stories.
I didn't get a chance.
So do you wanna just give us a little something?
Yeah, well, I can go into...
You had a gig on the weekend, how's that?
I've had gigs every weekend. I've been out every weekend. I've been at gigs. I've played at a festival. A mini, technically, festival thing, which is kind of cool. I can tell you the story of how that worked. That was very funny.
Yeah, let's hear it. Because I remember there was fucking, like, confusion and drama with this.
So, we'll take us back with that whole festival thing.
Walk us back.
The big old boys at Verum, we had booked a show at a venue called Greaser Bar, and we had booked it for the date of the 21st of November, I believe it was. And we'd booked it ages in advance because it's pretty good, like, knowledge to be able to have a couple months in between booking a show and actually playing the show. So you've got promotion and make sure it's not booked out and whatever else. So we'd had it lined up. Everything was locked in. It was announced. It was all sweet. We were like, sick. Now all we got to do is just make sure people come and then wait and play the show. Between announcing the show and actually playing, somewhere in the middle, they announced Valley Fiesta, which, for people that don't know, is a festival that is in the Valley, I think, every year, or at least it used to be a festival. I don't know too much about how it runs or what the go is.
But Caden, it's COVID. How did the festival work?
For this year, what the situation is the festival was run across multiple different venues, which I think is the case every year. But for this one, it was sprawled across multiple, like way more.
So instead of being like a festival, it was more like a
bunch of gigs happening at the same time.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, that's what
big
a festival
bands all
is,
playing.
Yeah,
big bands all playing. Like the Valley is tiny, technically, in comparison. Like it's big. It's one big block that everyone plays on. So you could walk 5 minutes down the road and end up at another venue, and then walk 5 minutes across the road and end up in another venue. So the whole idea was...
I was going to ask, is it a weekend? Is it a weekend long thing? Like,
yeah, it was. Okay. It spanned through from. I don't have the post. The poster's in my car. I stole one of the posters that were like printed off.
Nice.
It was like legit, like cardboard print ones. You know the ones you see on all the construction walls?
Yeah,
that are taped up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we ripped one of them off because it had our name on it. And I was like,
it's the Verum.
Damn.
So the trick was they had I want to say 8 or 9 different venues, maybe more. And they had a lot of big names playing in bands like Wax, bands like Peach Fur, a lot of big local names, stuff like that, and even bigger people. Playing at all these venues, and we so happen to have booked our gig on this date. Now, unfortunately, what tends to happen with these venues is they get approached being like, hey, we want to hold this at your venue. Are you guys available and down to do it? Some venues are all for it. Some venues weren't. So there was a couple venues that weren't a part of Valley Fiesta, and there were a couple venues that were. like as in our local venues that we normally play at. Greaser Bar happened to be the one that was a part of Valley Fiesta, and unfortunately what happens is the big organization Q Music comes in and is like, all right, cool, this is what's already planned. You have to make everything work around it. So we had booked our gig on the 21st, and we had organized people to play at certain times because other people had to work, and even certain artists on the lineup that we had were working in the Valley that night and needed to go straight from work to the gig.
Yeah, I remember you saying
like,
there was
good,
a couple of bands with like a pretty tight turnaround.
Yeah, so like we had 3 bands. It was a band called Ben Tennyson, which are fucking awesome. A band called White Light, which are fucking awesome. White Light Station. And then us, which are okay.
I like White Light
Hey,
Station.
Verum is very awesome, sir.
I wear one of their shirts.
I'm wearing Slalt Cast,
Thank you.
Slalty.com.
Thank you. But the deal was we were going to start from about 9 and probably play. The 3 bands would all get 45-minute sets, 45 to an hour, and each band would kind of play on the hour, which worked perfectly because the band White Light Station, 1 or 2 of their members were working that night and needed to come straight from work to the gig, which was fine because they only worked around the corner, so they could literally just clock off and rock up.
Yeah.
The problem then was with Valley Fiesta was the deal was they had booked the main headlining act who had to start and finish by a certain time because then they had a DJ come in after that. So then they had then pushed everyone back to start earlier.
Oh, no.
And then, unfortunately, when you have too many people organizing one event, you tend to get things mixed up or wrong.
There's like communication
which
errors
happens.
and stuff.
Yeah.
It's communications. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. Too many people know.
Yeah, too many cooks.
Too many people working on the same thing. You tend to get left out of updates, or things just don't get said.
Yeah.
Like just little details, stuff like that. So,
like when you say we're going to do a live podcast at 6:00, and then the other guy said, "I'm playing zombies."
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
I mean, that's different. I'd say organizing to do the podcast on a live stream the day of was kind of a weird decision, but that's just me.
Hey, it's working, I think.
I think we'll know in post.
Everything works in post.
Malone?
Anyway, what they'd done is they'd pushed the time slots back, which couldn't work for White Light Station as they were working at the time and couldn't actually play. So we had the unfortunate option of 2 choices. We were either, do we sacrifice the headline slot for us and just play second and hope that it'll still be packed enough?
Because you were supposed to be headlining
to
this
enjoy.
gig, like you'd organised this so that you guys were...
We'd organised it for us to be the headline. It was the big show that we all wanted to play with a bunch of mates' bands, so it was kind of like our night. And then it was kind of frustrating when someone else would come in and be like, oh, look, now it's their night.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, Ben Tennyson, White Light Station, and us all kind of got caught in the crossfire, which it happens. It's shit, we know, but there's really not much you can do about it. It's just unfortunate circumstance. So we had 2 options. It was either we ask White Light Station if we can take the headline slot and then potentially not play and us find another fill-in band, or we just say, fuck it, we'll do it again another time, play second, let White Light Station play third before the other band, the main headline band, and make a night out of it anyway and still have a lot of fun and hoping that there's a lot of people around. We were really good mates with White Light Station, so we didn't really want to kind of put a bad taste in their mouth, and they are good people. So we were like, you know what, fuck it, let's play the night anyway. We'll play it as is. They can play after us. We'll let them have the 3rd slot just because we don't really want to make a big deal out of it when really it's no one's fault. So we ended up playing second, had a fucking awesome night. Heaps of people were there and was packed out and was really, really good and unexpected for us. We met a lot of really good people there. And it ended up being an awesome night. So we made the right choice in the end, and it was really, really fucking good.
That's good.
But it was just funny how it all turned around, because it was like 1 minute it was just us. Next minute, we couldn't even play the gig because all the times got moved and no one could play. And then another minute, the fucking times got pushed back again, and it all kind of sorted itself out in the end. The biggest unfortunate about the whole thing was a lot of people were very confused as to who was playing when, especially us when we rocked up, because there was 3 posters that were made and 3 like event posters that were made that were shared on social media platforms. One by the big organization Q Music that had done it, one by Greaser Bar, and one by Valley Fiesta. All 3 posters displayed wrong, like different set times.
Oh no!
So they had one poster had the wrong order. It had us playing last, not third, which was completely wrong. They had one other poster had all the right set times, but had everyone playing super fucking late. So the lineup that was organized on the night was first band to start at 8, second band to start at about 9:45 odd. The headline band was supposed to start about 11. I think third band had to play at like 10ish. I can't quite remember, but that's what happened on the night. One venue poster had the bands starting from 9 o'clock and finishing at 1 o'clock, which didn't work.
Yeah,
and wasn't even allowed. And then another poster basically just was like the us and White Light Station were in the wrong order.
Gee, so this really was just like a fucking comedy of errors the whole way until
it was exactly. So you can see why we were a little skeptical going into it, and why we were a little like, really hope this plans out well, especially for us, because we've tried a lot to organize this gig, and it's a really good opportunity, and we don't want to miss out just by unfortunate circumstance. So it worked out really fucking well, and I'm glad, because it was a fun night, and we made a lot of friends that night, which was sick.
That's good. Wow. Fantastic.
Yeah, so...
And so I saw you posted on your Instagram at Where.Band. You played your last gig of the year now.
Yes, potentially. Potentially. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
you. Okay. It was our last gig organized, but we have one of our good mates works at a venue up in Brisbane called Tomcat, which this boy up in the corner here, you might not see. Wait, point that way.
That's Kobe.
There it is. This one. This Kobe boy might be playing it.
Why are you?
He might be playing it next
year. Apple keyboard. What just happened?
There was Coke on it. What? Is that TOS? There was nothing there, Twitch. There was nothing there, Twitch. I swear.
You gotta remember, we have to be even careful.
I was gonna do the bit, but then Caden called attention to me. I got scared.
In saying that, we tend to get asked to play gigs pretty last minute, because we're like, there's a couple bands in the Valley that you tend to go to because they always say yes, and they're pretty reliable, and they actually put on a good show. We're fortunate enough to be one of those bands. So like my good mate Jono, who's a part of White Light Station, is the sound guy and the bookie at this venue, Tomcat, and he tends to hit us up every now and again being like, we had a band pull out this weekend, you reckon you boys can come up? So it is technically our last gig as organized, but at this rate, anything could change. And by saying that, I'm pretty sure I just got an email to play a gig after
Nice!
So if you want, we can actually... Should we read it on stream or should we not? On pod.
Considering it's live, let's not read.
I won't dox anything, but I can give information that could be interesting.
Okay.
For what? Sorry?
If we want. For the gig that I literally got at 6:10.
What I'm going to get you to do, Ken, is proofread the email while Kobe talks about his gripping topic, and then we can come back to it.
I've already proofread it.
Okay, well, tell us, Caden. Just tell us already.
It's short and sweet. So it looks like we're being asked to play at Greaser Bar, which is the one that we actually play the Valley Fiesta at. We're playing for their... it's a surprise.
Oop.
It's for a Boxing Day show.
Ooh, that's exciting. Sweet. If you're in the Greaser Bar area.
If you're watching and you're in the area, don't tell anyone, but show up.
But show up indeed.
Okay. But show up.
You literally just broke an embargo.
No, because what we have is tight, and we just keep it real.
I guess.
God, it's our first live episode. And we're already breaking NDAs.
Yeah. So speaking of partying, I've had this this topic brewing for a couple weeks, and it's the worst theme for a party. Now, Dan, before you say this is a Young Crumbs bit,
this is the Young Crumbs bit. Like most of our bits on the podcast, it's a Young Crumbs
most of
bit.
your bits,
hey,
most of my bits.
I also
original.
bring a good number of
stolen
kind
bits
of funny
from Kinda
bits,
Funny.
and sometimes a Rooster Teeth podcast bit just sprinkled in.
Yeah. So, a lot of people that we went to school with recently have had their birthdays. There's been a lot of November birthdays, and December birthdays, but not just myself, Dan, and Joseph.
Joseph
Hayden's
cannot be with us right now.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, he died.
On his birthday.
Yeah.
So a lot of them have been having parties, which is fine, but they've been having a specific theme, and it's a theme
no
that
theme.
No. The theme. This isn't us. This isn't us. This is other people that we had gone to school with that we don't talk to anymore and we kind of dislike. The theme of those parties is all white, and I think that is the worst theme for a party. I think it is just so needlessly bougie to have everybody wearing
white
all
pants. I don't want to have to purchase white pants.
It's a lot of girls, right? So they're in white dresses. I just hate the aesthetic of it. Me going on it. You know what? Gonna steal from the Young Crumbs again. If you like going to an all-white party, grow up.
He's talking when he says all white. No one clip it. He's talking about dress code.
I'm talking about dress code. The dress code is white. You wear all white.
Probably should have maybe opened with that statement.
I thought it was implied.
God,
well, look, you can never tell now.
So far on a live stream podcast, we've broken an embargo, and Kobe's gone on a racial tirade.
Well, I'm saying how I don't like those kinds of parties, so I feel like I'm in the clear here. I feel like it's anything but the bad thing.
Fuck, man. You done well.
I think.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna bring up. So a friend of ours, Kobe, I believe I was gonna say it's your wife, but recently divorced, from my understanding.
Yes. Recently
so she just sent out invites for her 21st, and it involves traveling, and then being overnight somewhere.
I've seen this.
What's your opinion on that? I think that's. She probably won't listen to this. I think that's fucking dumb. I'm not. That's so much effort. That's so much effort. Like, I can go if it's like a Saturday night. Yeah, that's a party. But to give my whole weekend, I don't know. That's a lot.
Well, we kind of already did it this year when we went down the coast, and there was that one podcast where Joseph and I killed all of our friends, and Dan became Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin.
See, the difference was that was like 4 people's birthdays.
Yeah, right. Like, I'm not opposed to that sort of thing. I feel like I like the concept, but also the thing is like it's just for this one person's party, and why can't you just have it at, like, a venue, not a house, like just a venue or something like that. But this person who was very good, who was a very good friend of mine, she may be my ex-wife, but I still. You know how like the husband always still has feelings for her, and then like
you're
a year
cuck.
later, and then then I'm over her, and she doesn't know what she's missing because I'm back on that A train. If you get what I'm saying.
I don't know. I don't get what you're saying.
Right on that A train, baby.
Anyway, I don't mind it. I think it's
so that had no point. You were just. Meandering.
I forgot. I forgot what I was saying. Yeah, it's a stupid idea, but I don't mind it. That's
indeed
fair enough.
Yeah.
Look, a party's a party, whether it's in the bush or in the backyard.
That's
party do be a party.
Caden, see, this is the scale. This is the scale that you were meant to go on, and then you went like this.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Because he's like, a party is a party from the bush.
I'm just saying I'm lazy and I don't want to have to travel an hour out of Sydney to go to a party.
No, I agree.
that's kind of fair enough.
But also think about the
antics. Is it camping or is it staying?
Yeah, and we're being forced to stay in a tent.
Are we? I thought it was a house.
Yeah, but she's like, there's not enough room in the house. We have to be in a tent.
Well, unlucky.
Why not just organize a house?
Unlucky for you guys, because I'm going to be the third one in that room. Wink.
Cuck.
Who said I was the cuck?
Oh.
No, I'm the cuck. I'm the cuck. I lied. I'm the cuck.
He's the cuck. So there was a big week in Disney that we can dive into unless you guys have anything else you'd like to get into beforehand.
We're going to spend like 40 minutes on this and then talk about The Mandalorian. I don't want to... I listened to 2 podcasts today. Actually 3 that talked about it.
We can double a bit. We don't have to go in detail. I think we can talk like what are our favorites, what are we most excited for, and give some little details on key ones. We don't have to go into detail for every single
We're going to read the full
announced.
synopsis, make predictions, screenings, trailer screenings for every single... No.
Look, sometimes we have a habit of doing
was there anything that stood out to you guys? Let's start with... We'll say Star Wars. Actually,
Star Wars ones were pretty sick.
Jump into Star Wars. Is there anything that jumped out at you guys?
I liked the Ahsoka, the whole Ahsoka thing. That's pretty sweet. I feel like people just got accustomed to her being in The Mandalorian. Yeah, well, Rosario being Ahsoka, but also Ahsoka being in The Mandalorian, and
just a
quite
live
enjoying
action
that character
Ahsoka in general.
Yeah, I feel like that was the perfect time to be like, hey, we also got a series.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like that episode was absolutely just like a cheeky backdoor pilot of sorts.
Yeah, maybe.
But that also means there's like no chance we're getting Admiral Thrawn in Mando now.
That's fine.
That's definitely an
that's
Ahsoka thing.
I feel like that's fine. If Admiral Thrawn was in Ahsoka, I wouldn't.
I'm just saying it's interesting because generally when the Mandalorian sets something up, it just happens in the show in like the next episode because storytelling. But yeah, no, it's interesting. It's an interesting way to do it. We all know what the biggest announcement in the Star Wars thing was, and that is that a certain someone's reprising their role. Warwick Davis is coming back as Wicket, baby! Woo!
Let's go!
Fuck yeah!
It's actually someone that's really near and dear to my heart. It's the Cassian Andor show.
Fuck yeah!
Let's fucking go.
What's his name?
I forget.
Diego Luna's reprising his role. Yeah.
It's Kenobi. It's
Kenobi. You really kind of brought the vibe.
It's Kenobi.
Hayden Christensen's back.
Sorry.
Kenobi question.
Kenobi.
I don't know much about Kenobi. Is it a movie or a series?
It's a series. It's directed.
And where does it pick up?
Does
it pick up Does it pick up in between the prequels?
It's before episode 4, after episode 3.
It's in the gap in between. I'm not sure how far either side it is. Caden just disconnected.
Caden left. Caden, drag him back in. Drag him back in.
Caden.
That was a big mistake.
What happened to you?
I accidentally clicked back into Discord and it just so happened to join the other chat.
Nice.
Well, nice work.
So the Kenobi series is directed by Deborah Chow, who did she did chapter 3 and chapter 7 of Mandalorian season 1, which happened to also be the 2 best episodes of Mandalorian season 1. So that's fucking awesome. Like, she's a good director.
Sweet.
We got big boy Ewan McGregor coming back, Hayden.
And also Hayden Christensen. And they're doing flashbacks.
So I was going to say, that's what I wanted to get into. You'd have to imagine that all the Hayden Christensen stuff would be in flashbacks. Because we know that they didn't really meet Obi-Wan and Vader didn't really meet in that time.
Until
episode 4.
Until episode 4.
There is a possibility that they may have. Like,
it's true. There could be little like
yeah.
missions and stuff like
Well,
that.
didn't
where
Rebels like really explore
interact.
that time period? And
They did, but Vader can be accounted. Like, Vader can't be accounted for a lot of that because a lot of that.
Well,
show
he
was
still could
filler.
be like. This is the thing. Kenobi's the main character. Doesn't mean we still can't see Vader in his own. Like, it could be a lead up to where the end of the series plays into episode 4 a little
yeah,
bit.
do you reckon they like Rogue One it even harder? Like this movie
Yeah.
ends at the start of Rogue One, and then Rogue One. Do you reckon they're just gonna like backfill that whole time?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
It's
Well,
a
'cause
30-year span, and we get it's a 19-year span or whatever it is, and we get like every single moment leading up.
a year
Yeah.
an episode.
No, I'm extremely excited. Obi-Wan
That could be
is
sick.
Obi-Wan is my favorite. Hash Bacon Lawrence in chat says Caden Christensen. So
That works.
Caden
That
Caden
works.
could be Caden Christensen, and I can be Obi-Wan Kobe or Kobe-Wan Kenobi, whichever one works. Have a look at
That's
And Dan-
so
I'm
good.
I'm
could
Dan
be
Luke
Watto.
Skywalker.
that. I was gonna say you're Watto.
Oh, because I'm a because of is it because of my nose, Kobe? Is it because
No.
of my large nose?
No, it's because
Are you trying to
it's-
make a racial stereotype right now?
No, it's because Jedi mind tricks don't work on you.
only money.
Only credits.
Only
Actually, Kobe,
money.
you make a good point. Where's the series that everyone wants? Where's the Watto series?
Where is the
Watto.
Watto?
Everyone's
That
like,
would be-
what happened? What was his origin story? What happened once Annie left him and he
Who is
became
this
poor?
man? Where did he come from?
What are his motives?
Where did he come from? Cotton Eyed Watto.
What were some other really interesting Star Wars series that they brought out?
Those two
Bad
guys
Batch.
from The Mandalorian have their own show now.
Bad Batch?
No,
Bad Batch's Clone Wars stuff. Don't worry about that.
the New Republic. What was it called?
Is that Gina Carano? And
Is it Jenna Carano? I thought it was those two New Republic troopers just kind of flying around.
wasn't one of them John Favreau?
One of them wasn't it Dave Filoni?
Ah,
I don't
probably.
know. I didn't pay enough attention.
I don't know.
Anyway, there's a
That-
show about like New Republic people.
That would be kind of cool. And then we get into Marvel stuff, which is
Awesome! Did you see
Really
the
cool.
Loki trailer? Oh my
I
god!
did see the Loki trailer. What the fuck is going on with that?
So from what I understand, the synopsis of that show is, so it picks up immediately after the scene in Endgame where
Yeah.
the Avengers go back to the alternate timeline, first Avengers movie, where Loki grabs the Tesseract and teleports away.
yeah.
Now, this is a series, right?
This
Yeah.
is a series.
Yeah, that threw me for a loop. I was going full into this like, oh, fuck yeah, new movie. This is sick, really cool, really keen. And then at the end of it, it said
Streaming
series
Disney Plus.
airing
Yeah.
and streaming in Disney Plus or something. I was like, oh,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'd be interested.
quick side note. So from what they announced in terms of films and television, basically from the first episode of WandaVision next like January, we're gonna have basically something new Marvel to watch every single week of next year.
That's
Holy shit.
That's
That's
pretty
one
cool.
way for them to try and make their money back after
Yeah,
this.
but so what from what I understand, what the Loki series is, so he teleports away, and he's caught by a group in the Marvel universe called the Time Variance Authority, who basically they're like, if there's something wrong with the timeline, they go and they fix it basically. So Loki's enlisted by the Time Variance Authority, the TVA, let's call them, to go throughout moments in time and like fix the timeline. So he's going to be jumping all over space and time, from what I understand.
That's kind of cool.
That's fucking. I mean, it's an awesome premise to just kind
Very
of
cool.
put Loki all over the place.
I think that show in particular is really great because Loki isn't that Loki is 2012 Loki, not 2020.
So he hasn't had all of the
2019
character
Loki.
development.
So it's going to be really interesting to see how they write the character because if they write the character as Loki 2019, I think that it's going to be like it'd still be a good show, but I feel like it'd just be less impactful.
I feel like he will still be the kind of anti-hero-esque guy that he is.
But
I
like,
think you'll...
Well, you have to think the
rewatch
last
the
thing
first
that
of
Loki did in that timeline was try and kill all of New York and like start an
Yes.
invasion and let Thanos in.
Yes.
But
he good guy.
He a good man. We know he can grow, and that's the most important thing.
Yeah, but he also kind of in the second Thor movie faked his death, and came back in the third Thor movie, and then almost betrayed Thor.
He came
again,
back as
but
Matt
didn't.
Damon.
He did do that.
He didn't.
He was Matt
He was
Damon.
Odin. Matt Damon. He was just friends with Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. The What If is
What
pretty
else?
cool.
Yeah, so it's another like Marvel series of them just putting people all over the place in time. What if the animated show where it's basically like DC Elseworlds, where they're like, what if Peggy Carter was given the super soldier syndrome, or what if there was a fucking zombie outbreak? And it's an animated series, but the cool thing is that all of the live action actors are the ones giving the voice performances.
I like that.
Chadwick
That's pretty
Boseman is in it. Like,
Yeah, so this show was announced
his last
forever
performance?
ago. I think
Yeah.
that one, or
I
at least
remember seeing it.
there's an episode where it's like, what if T'Challa was the one abducted by Yondu, not Peter Quill?
Yeah.
And like, what if T'Challa was Star-Lord? So if that'd be actually pretty cool if they have Chadwick Boseman as the voice. Speaking of,
I was going to say, speaking of that, they just announced that they're not going to recast Panther.
yeah, so in
gonna
that
write it
they
down.
said Black Panther 2 is still happening. It's slated for like 2022, I think. And they aren't recasting Chadwick, which I think is a good move. But
I think it's a smart move.
do you reckon Shuri's gonna put on the armor? Shuri, new Black Panther.
That'd be
I
cool.
don't know. She's an anti-vaxxer, isn't she?
Excuse
The-
me?
The actress. The actress, isn't she an anti-vaxxer?
Oh, I didn't know about that.
I don't know. I might be talking out of my ass. I could be just spreading misinformation. I'm sorry.
Let's be careful. Okay, so far in this
Yeah.
episode, Caden's broken NDA. Kobe's gone on a racial tirade. Caden left the Discord call,
it
and
was
now Kobe's
anti-racist.
slandering people. Just fucking slandering people.
Now all we need is Dan to fucking fall below the line, and we're all like one big happy family.
I'll reveal myself on stream.
Actors and actresses are problematic people. Who knew? Says Hashback. Sorry, I'm reading chat.
Fucking
I'm also reading chat.
Thor, for Thor 4, fucking... We knew that,
Was there a trailer for that?
No, but what's... Batman, what's his name? Christian Bale. We knew that he was in the movie. His role finally got confirmed. He is playing Gore the God Butcher. So...
His character is cool. He's a guy whose family is killed, and then he goes, "There is no gods because they wouldn't let this happen."
And then he killed them all.
And then he was like, "Oh, wait a minute, there is gods. I can see them." And then he went and got a sword, which is a symbiote like Venom, but instead of a full cool bodysuit, it's just kind of a sword. And then he killed the gods.
Have you read this, or did you look up?
I have, like I said before.
Oh, you
I
listened to
watched
several
3
podcasts?
that discussed this today.
Well, so the cool
and
thing
I
is
know
that's he's from the Jason Aaron Thor run that we know Natalie Portman's becoming Thor in this
New
movie,
Thor.
and that was another of the Jason Aaron series. So it looks like that's definitely where Taika's pulling his inspiration from for this series. But Gore was one of the Gore arc was like my favorite arc in that thing.
So does it look like that with a lot of these series and spin-offs and whatever else and kind of sideshows that they're trying to complete the character arc and open up a new character?
I think this is definitely the sunsetting for a lot of the original cast.
Because you look at it the last big Marvel movie we had was Endgame, and most of those characters that were kind of sunsetted was Iron Man. Iron Man was one of them. Captain America was another. Hulk was one of them.
I don't think Hulk. No, he's still going to be in it.
Hulk is in shit.
His arm just busted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's really all we lost was Iron Man and Captain America and Black Widow because she died. But Black
she's
Widow
got
still
a
has the
movie.
solo movie, but that's a prequel.
But we also don't know.
yeah.
I read a theory online saying that she still had one more jump left in time.
Yeah, that she went back in time, and that
so
movie's
she went-
actually like not a prequel.
Yeah, but but I don't know.
Like the whole movie happens during the fall. Like she went back and back.
But how would she go back and then come?
Shut
back
up,
first?
Pim particles, baby.
Yeah, but they only had enough. They only had
Hank
enough
Pym,
for one
baby.
jump. That's why Captain America and Iron Man had to go back
Yeah,
again.
and they had to go talk to his dad for catharsis.
Yeah, man, I wish I could do that.
Daddy.
I'll get Hank Pym on the line.
Oh, there were 2 films that I could make that joke in. That's funny. All right, continue.
What else did we get from Marvel? Anything else interesting?
I mean, they basically reconfirmed a bunch of the stuff we already knew, like Blaze still happening, She-Hulk, Moon Knight. I think they all got like directors attached at the very least.
Yeah.
There was some casting news.
Cool.
Yeah, there was a lot of casting as well.
Basically, the 3 Disney Plus shows that we know are coming next year.
Loki, WandaVision,
and
Hawkeye.
No.
No?
Winter Soldier thing.
Yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier. They all got trailers and dates.
Yep.
So the order.
Fantastic Four.
Sorry. Was getting there. I was gonna go to.
I want to get through this topic because I'm severely burnt out on this shit.
Well, Hawkeye is the thing I was going to jump to next.
Okay, yeah.
They confirmed it already leaked fully, but they confirmed Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop, and they're doing the Matt Fraction Hawkeye run, which is the best Hawkeye comic ever written, one of the best Marvel comics ever written. Very cool. And then yes, as Kobe said, the thing that they ended on was Fantastic Four.
Which was just a picture of a 4 zooming in. It was just a graphic of a 4.
Now, fan cast right now. Raul Coley as fucking Mr. Fantastic.
Yes.
Or we right.
Yeah, or George Clooney.
No.
And then put him in
they're
the
not
same
gonna do it.
room
They're not
as
going to do
Johnny
a white
Depp.
dude.
Yeah, probably. No, I don't really care. As long as
they get
not,
people who can actually
as long
act.
as it's not Josh Trank,
Miles
who
Teller
directed Fan Four
he was.
Stick.
Oh yeah, Josh Trank, I think.
Yeah.
Miles Teller was Mr. Fantastic in that. And he wasn't very good.
Chris Evans is Johnny.
Get him back.
Johnny Blaze.
Oh man. Yeah.
No,
Man,
I high hopes for that movie, and do you reckon that'll be the introduction of Doctor Doom into the MCU?
Yes.
That'd be a very sensible place to do it.
I think it'll go like Doctor Doom, then I think the next
Galactus.
big bad is going to be like the next.
Well, yeah, we know it's not Secret Invasion because they announced a Secret Invasion TV series starring Sam Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn.
Yeah. But also Krang.
Crazy.
I think that's his name.
Yeah,
Krang.
Krang.
He's in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Yeah, which is weird. Hopefully that movie's good because the other 2 weren't.
I disagree.
I mean, that
I
was
like
fine.
the latest
2
one.
was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. I like how Marvel is kind of now like
The movies are in the same format as comics. There's just so much of it.
Yeah, and I like how a lot of this this phase 4 has sort of been like planned out. Like there is that first complete arc. Like we
know basically the whole next 2 years. The only thing that we don't have a date for is Black Widow.
But also like WandaVision is looking like it's going to be some like timey-wimey stuff. Then we've got Doctor Strange, which is like Multiverse of Madness. And then we've got Spider-Man, which is allegedly going to be a multiverse story.
Movie, yeah.
And then we've got Ant-Man and the Wasp with like Quantumania, which could also tie into that, like the science behind it. So it's looking like they've done a lot more forethought than like the first.
When you're dealing with stories this complex, you kind of have to.
Yeah, so I'm more excited for Marvel starting from 2021 than.
Was
if I was
a lot of
the
this
same
planned
2008.
for this year?
So what was supposed to come out this year, from the top of my head, was Black
Widow was supposed to be one of them.
Eternals, Shang-Chi, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Black Widow. They said the reason that they haven't put out Falcon and the Winter Soldier yet is because Black Widow needs to come out first.
Yeah.
Like there's story stuff that happens in that ties into Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So that's interesting. They haven't set a date for Black Widow yet, but you have to imagine it's going to have to be in between the 2 shows, whether it's in cinemas or it's like a Disney Plus release, the same as Milan, when you pay the $30 and you watch it. But
yeah,
we got there's like 5 Marvel movies that are coming out next year. It's crazy.
It's gonna be epic.
There's a hell of movies, actually, now that you mention it, that got added to that whole streaming and cinema thing.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that last week. WB, their entire 2021 catalog is coming straight to HBO Max.
Yeah, I saw that. You've got the new Mortal Kombat movie, which, funny story, actually, I met the girl who's playing Melina.
Oh shit! How did that come about?
She came to a gig.
Did she like your band?
I think so. I can't remember.
Is
Met her a while
cool?
ago. Yes.
That's sick.
But yeah, you've got Mortal Kombat. You've got a new Matrix movie.
Matrix 4.
Matrix 4.
You
got Wonder
Dune.
Woman, but that was already Dune. Yeah.
Dune,
Heaps
Wonder
of
Woman.
shit.
A lot of
Suicide
interesting
Squad.
movies.
A bunch of like potential billion-dollar movies.
Yeah.
Apparently, a lot of people were up in flames because they weren't.
They didn't tell like investors and shit like that. Like
AMC is pretty much dead. So AMC is one of the biggest theater chains in the US, and they're pretty much like, we're gonna die.
Yeah.
So there needs to be, and I feel like as much as Dan, I understand that you love the cinema experience.
I do. It's amazing.
I also like the cinema experience, but God fucking damn it, there are some times where I just go, I'm not gonna watch this movie because I can't be fucked going to the cinema. Like I feel
lazy.
It's not so much lazy. It's just like I'm not going to. You know, if the option is there for me to spend like $30 at home and then watch it at home, something like fucking, you know what? Something like Shang-Chi, and the 10 Rings. Like I wouldn't go see that in a theater.
You're going to, though. I'm making you.
Yeah, I know you're gonna.
I feel like it'd be a similar thing. Like, you know how many movies came out and you weren't super excited for, and you're like, I'll wait till it comes out on
and then it
streaming
wins
or
Best
DVD.
Picture, and then you're like, well, now I want to watch that.
It's funny because I watched all of those movies in the cinema.
But it's the kind of thing. It's the kind of thing where, like, for me personally, for example, there was certain movies that came out where I was like, oh yeah, that's a cool movie, I want to watch it, but I'm not super excited to go see it, so I'll wait till it comes out at home and I can watch it at home. Whereas certain movies where I need to go see that in a cinema. I feel like it'll be much the same, but I feel like there'll be a higher profit margin for the ones at home.
So how this HBO Max deal is working, they're going to release the movies in cinema and on HBO Max at the same time, and they're going to be on HBO Max for 1 month, and then they're going to come off HBO Max for 2 months or however long the deal with the theater chains are until they can go back on for home release. So you still you have to watch it in that 1 month window, and I feel like it's the same. People are gonna want to go back to the cinemas, especially for like the superhero movies and stuff.
Certain movies, the superhero movies, like a movie like Dune, for example. There's a lot of people that are super excited for it and would be really cool to go see it in a big cinema.
Good book, read it.
It's the kind of thing that those kinds of movies would still do really well in a cinema, but it's also those kinds of people that maybe aren't too worried about Dune, don't really know much about it, and think it's
the people who weren't going to go to the movies anyway.
Yeah.
Now they're
the kind of people who wouldn't go see it. They might actually watch it. They might just go do it in the comfort of their own home. I feel like it is kind of a smart play. I feel like it could play out.
I mean, it's definitely going to get the movies in front of more eyes. Whether it makes them more money is the question.
Is the big question. That's what a lot of people were afraid about.
It's a short term. It's a
COVID band-aid
injection.
Yeah.
Well, but it's an injection of like, this is how we're going to fuel money.
It is
in the short term, because like, think about it. These were all filmed before COVID started.
I mean, a lot of the movies are done. They're just sitting on a hard drive in Warner Brothers.
Yeah, right. And like
someone's fucking drawer.
Those are all finished. But now there's been like the span of like 6 months, more than 6 months, where nothing has been filmed. So if they don't release anything in 2020, like if they didn't release anything for 2021, and COVID went straight into 2021, like they would have no content for 2 years, right? So and as much as I hate to say it, I think big cinema chains need to go and smaller places need to pop up, which I think would be kind of a better experience. Like after all this,
have you been? There's a small theater in the city. It's fucking dope. It's called the Golden Age Cinema. Have you been there, Kobe?
No.
It's pretty cool, and it is exactly what you're saying. It's a smaller theater chain. They show like indie movies generally. I watched the Portrait of a Lady on Fire there. That was a great movie. Go watch it. And while I agree those are sick, and I'd like to see more of them, I'd like there to be one closer to fucking where we live.
There's a small one in Campbelltown. I forget if it's
that's not closer for me. Anyway, there still definitely is a place for like the event cinema. Like it's
it's still gonna exist.
I want to see when I go to see a Marvel movie. I want to see it on the biggest screen in the loudest theater I can. Like
I feel like the biggest question too is for us as people in Australia, we're kind of pretty much open back up.
Oh, the movies
There's
are
a lot
back
of
on.
things. There's a lot of things that we still can't go and do, and we still got to keep within regulations. But to a degree, Australia is pretty open. You look at places like America, certain parts of Europe,
They're at the peak of the pandemic.
they're going back down to lockdown. So I feel like they're the ones that are really going to be targeted for a lot of this shit. Whereas us,
they never left.
True, that's a good point. I feel like us, it's not really going to affect any of us. It's just going to be like, oh, cool, I don't have to wait a month for it to come out. If I didn't really want to go see it in the cinema, I'll just fucking watch it at home.
Yeah.
I feel like our kind of demographic are still going to be a lot like, yeah, fuck it, I'll go see it in the cinema. Is cinemas open up like normal, or is it 1 per 2?
So how the movies are working at the moment, at least for Event Cinemas, which is the cinema chain that I use the most, when you book a seat, it automatically blocks out the 2 seats to the left and right of you and the seat in front and behind. So you can book like 3 seats in a row, and then it'll just like box you out, which I think is cool because I don't like being near people. So but it definitely does reduce the capacity of the theater.
I completely forgot. I'd already.
You went to Akira, didn't you?
Movie.
Yeah.
I saw Akira and I saw
Tenet?
No, it was Made in Abyss.
Ah, how's that?
Dawn of the Deep Soul. It was fucked up. It was very fucked up.
Speaking of watching things, Mandalorian.
I thought you were going to go into Palm Springs, Kobe.
Oh, can we talk about Palm Springs?
Yeah, do you want to do a brief, kind of spoiler-free recommendation to watch this movie because it's really fucking good?
Watch Palm Springs.
What's it about? I don't even know what Palm Springs is.
It's alright.
It's Groundhog's Day, but make it 2020.
Hold on, ready? It's a good Adam. It's like Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore.
No, stop! It's not 51st Dates. It's not 51st Dates.
It's 51st
You're not gonna
Dates.
People aren't gonna watch it if you
really, really good with a Groundhog Day twist. Right?
Okay.
You'll really like it. It's a fantastic movie.
So it's a Lonely Island produced movie that's been put on Amazon Prime, at least in Australia. It's the girl from. What's she from?
Yeah,
that one movie.
She's from something. I recognize her, and it's also Andy Samberg. And yeah, it's basically it's Groundhog's Day, make it millennial. It's really fucking good.
It's real fucking good.
Speaking of real fucking good, this episode of The Mandalorian
was okay.
Yeah, it wasn't. No.
Wasn't amazing.
Yeah, for the live chat, we go into full spoilers for these parts. So if you haven't watched episode 15, chapter 15 yet, the one with Bill Burr in it, leave.
Yeah, you can come back to youtube.com. We don't have a custom URL, and watch it when this is released on Thursday. To hear our takes. Just skip to whatever time this is.
Spoiler warning out of the way, I'm going to say this now. Wasn't a big fan of the episode, only because I felt like it was just kind of awkward and it was like stalling for the final showdown.
So this episode was the second episode of this season to not be written by Jon Favreau. It was written and directed by Rick Famuyiwa, who did the Bill Burr episode last season. And I think he did one other episode. But I think this episode was definitely better than that episode. Bill Burr got his shit together and was like actually acting.
It was a good character development for him. I think they did a good job.
It's a shame we'll never see that character again. No, I'm sure we'll get him back.
Who was the director? Who was the director of the episode?
Rick Famuyiwa.
Oh, so he's the writer and director.
Yeah.
We've said it before on the podcast whenever Gina Carano was in an episode because
she sucks and she's a transphobe.
She is so fucking awful at acting. She is so
I think I called
bad.
it. I think I called it last week that this week was probably just going to be build up. Like
this was definitely like a season 1 filler episode, but it was like the best filler the show's made.
It was cool.
I mean, you can't even really call it filler though, because like a major story development happened.
Like if you think like how Mando is video game the show, I get this part.
This was like in Skyrim when you're doing the blade stuff and it feels like a side quest, but it's actually important to the story.
No, this felt like when the big thing happens, and then you have to do a mission that doesn't feel important but is actually pretty important, but the mission just doesn't hit, like it doesn't hit right. That's what this episode was.
Would you say it was still hitting different?
It should be hitting different.
There were things that were amiss, I felt. There were the big, again, double spoiler. I feel like this warrants a second spoiler. So leave now if you haven't watched the episode, if you're going to. The emotional moment of him taking off the helmet felt kind of empty.
See, I don't think it was... I've thought about this. I don't think it was supposed to be a big emotional punch. I think it was supposed to be the tension. Because he takes off the helmet and he goes up to the terminal and no one can see his face still. And then, like, the shot, you can see the guy in the corner, like, kind of eyeing him off, and then he walks over and he's like, fuck it, it's supposed to be just the tension building. And eventually he has to turn and he has to look at that guy, but it's okay because that guy doesn't know who he is. And then they start talking, and Mando's being quiet, and it's the tension building, and then Bill Burr's there, and Bill Burr sees his face, and then that's supposed to be the punch. Like, after the build-up of tension. I think that landed. It worked for me.
It worked. I think it was a cool moment, and I think because this is the only time we've ever seen him without the helmet. We've had a couple close calls, but we've never seen.
Well, no, we did in the finale. He took off his helmet in front of the robot.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think that makes sense then, because if it was the only time he's ever taken the helmet off, then it would have been a little bit of a dead weight. But I think the fact that we've already had that moment almost of him taking the helmet off.
Hash Bacon in chat just said din with no tin was great.
I still disagree. I felt like it was meant to... The entire, like... This season, he made a very, very, very specific point to Bo-Katan, which was like one of the, one of the big episodes.
He's a fascist. Not a fascist, fundamentalist.
Yeah, right. He refuses to take the helmet off. And this felt kind of small scale. You know what I mean? Like,
it was literally life or death.
Yeah, I guess.
I think, you know what? I think what took the wind out of the sails is it felt like they were facing like insurmountable odds with that many like they're in a fucking stormtrooper base.
Yeah,
and then he took his helmet off and you think, fuck, he's like making the ultimate sacrifice, but they're gonna live. And the fact that they have a shootout anyway, I feel like cheapens it.
Like where they're sitting at the table and it was Bill Burr, that made the episode a whole lot better because of that. It was just
awesome. That was a good exchange
scene. But it doesn't change the fact that, like, before that, we had this thing that this character had refused to do. Like, the only time we've ever seen him with it off was when the robot was like, "You're literally going to die. I'm a robot. What does it matter?" Right? That was the one time we've seen him do it. And it took for the character, and I mean, it doesn't really fucking matter. It's, inconsequential, really. But, like, for me, that was sort of just a more hollow, not completely hollow, but
I get you.
Hollow. It definitely wasn't the biggest emotional punch it could have been, but I think, especially like the conversation that they had in the Sandcrawler, where Bill Burr was showing how like disenfranchised he was with the whole conflict, even like how he was kind of so over it. I think that it was the build up. Like, it wasn't one big moment. It was like a lot going into it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that the bit with the pirates went on for way too long. Like, whereas it should have just been the one ship and then the 3 ships. We didn't need the 38 ships to come after it.
the fights were cool. I liked seeing Mando kick ass, and as always. And I think, like you said, the first 2 encounters were really cool. But it should have ended there.
I like when he does hand-to-hand combat
and move on. Yeah,
he's like, yeah. I think that's where it's at its best. It's at its best when he's like being a tank and when he's doing hand-to-hand combat, because that is really like the fighting style that they've defined.
The one thing that I didn't like the most about this episode was them escaping and like climbing out the window and climbing up the ladder.
That dude, those storms were trying to squeeze through, and he's just like,
I was just like, it felt so awkward. I was just like, they're up there, for example, they're like crawling around. You're like, I'm gonna get you, baby.
Yeah.
It just felt very kind of dinky. Didn't feel like a high tense situation because you had people like coming out and tripping and then falling out, and then you have people getting shot as they come out, and it was just like, what is going on here?
Whenever you have a ladder in an action scene, the action scene like just it feels
it ruins
so
the pacing.
void. Yeah, it does.
It does.
Like,
it really does.
Because you're vulnerable.
climb up
like
a
you should be
ladder.
fucking ruined.
Yeah, it's so that shit is. Yeah.
Let's talk about one of the most amazing pieces of fan service in the whole episode, though. I think you guys can know what I'm talking about. When the slave one flies away and he drops the fucking.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no, that was fucking sick. Oh, I love that.
That was really well done. I think I got that spoiled to me before I seen it because I'd seen a post pop up on Instagram and someone was like praising it, being like, they did this so much justice. And I was like, I initially thought I'd seen it in an old episode and I just didn't notice, like last episode or something. But then after watching this one and seeing the build up, I was like, okay, I know what's happening next.
See,
and
for me, it was
it
was the build up. I was like, he got in the like the slave one was flying and the two TIE fighters were behind him. They're like, oh, it'd be fucking cool if he. And then it was like, I was like, oh.
I completely forgot about that until like it dropped and I went,
it's the thing.
Yeah, it's the thing. And then it went quiet and then it went, wah. I was like, oh fuck.
That's some of the best sound design in like all of film.
Yeah, a lot of people say that too. That's like heralded as being really, really well thought out and pretty in depth.
One of the things that also like reminds me of that is the in Battleship starring Rihanna.
I didn't see it.
You didn't see? You haven't seen it?
I did.
You haven't seen it?
I haven't seen Battleship starring Rihanna.
Famous actor Rihanna.
The aliens have bombs, and when they hit the ships, Liam Neeson is also in it. Fun fact.
Watch it. Liam Neeson's though.
Liam Neeson is in it.
Liam Neeson's though.
It hits the ship and then it explodes and then implodes. It reminds me a lot of that. Just a side tangent. I don't know where I'm going.
That's fair.
So this episode was also the only episode of the show thus far with no Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be an end bit with that actually.
So did I. When they said you got to see this, I was like, ooh.
But the end Yoda bit that we did see
was really cool.
So did you guys pick up on what that was?
No.
It was the same message that Giancarlo Esposito gave to Mando, saying like, I want it, like what's worth more to me than you can possibly know. And then he like dropped his load and was like, fucking, I'm getting Grogu back.
That makes a bit of sense because to me, watching that, I was like, this is a little.
It felt a bit out of character for Mando.
It felt very out of character
without that context. Yeah.
Knowing the context of that makes a lot of sense. In watching that, I was like, oh, wow, this is really cool. It's like a fuck you moment. But it didn't really seem... It felt very forced without knowing the context. Nice. But then you go back and you think about the context, you're like, okay, yeah, it makes sense now.
I was expecting, though, you're right, at the end of that episode there to be like a scene or something with Baby Yoda and he's like force lightning fucking stormtroopers and shit. And it's like, oh no, Baby Yoda! That's the dark side!
What are you doing? What are you doing, Baby Yoda?
Yo.
Also, it'd be remiss of us to not talk about probably the worst scene, which was the end of the major conflict on that jungle planet, where Gina Carano was excusing Bill Burr.
That exchange was so bad.
It was so awful.
Very awkward.
I hated this.
It's a shame he died, and I hate trans people. I'm Gina Carano.
No.
It felt like not even Bill Burr was aware of the situation, and he was like, wait.
It was a bit of...
I don't know Bill Burr personally, believe it or not. I don't. But I feel like that after that take, Bill Burr just looked at everybody and was like, "Is the fuck is shit? What?"
See, that felt like
this a test shoot?
That felt like a pickup they shot way after to be like, "Oh, we might want Bill Burr's character back."
Yeah,
yeah.
I hated that scene. So it took me out so much because it was so bad.
Also, they left him on this desolate planet where they said literally nothing is going on here. You imagine they probably don't have major space capabilities. Like, that's almost as bad as being in prison. I'm just like, off you go.
And they just blew up.
They just blew up a bunch of the natives, yeah.
No, they blew up a bunch of... they blew up
the whole Empire base and shit as well.
Yeah, the Empire base that it probably has TIE fighters to leave. Well, definitely has TIE fighters.
I
to
mean,
it.
yeah,
it was
the
fucking
fucking
hilarious.
the two escaped and Bill was like, yes, and then fucking Boba was like, oh.
God, man. That's
Oh
fucking
well,
hilarious.
I think now we can sit here and we can say that we are very excited for next episode.
Yeah,
Yes.
so next episode, the
episode's gonna
finale.
be a doozy.
As of the recording of this podcast, they still haven't announced the director.
Ooh.
So-
It's got to be John.
Well, it'll either be John or Taika did last season's finale.
Okay.
Yeah. Or it might be Dave again. Or
Or
they
hopefully
would've-
it's fucking Dave again.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Because
I'm really
it
excited.
It wouldn't surprise me if at the end we got a Jedi.
I was
for
expecting Kenobi.
You kind of have to have someone like
at the
Kenobi
very
or maybe
end.
Ahsoka again.
Well, who do we reckon the
Kenobi's
Jedi is
dead.
going to be? The more I think about it, the more the only person it could be is Luke.
That's they could introduce a new character.
That would
Uh,
feel shitty.
it
It would
feel
be.
shitty, but also
I mean, Luke or Ezra. Chat saying
Well,
Ezra.
this
Yeah.
plays on after episode C.
We're at 9 years after episode 6.
Yeah.
So, but this is before or during episode 7.
It could also.
Well, episode
be
7
Cal
was 30 years
Kestis.
after episode 6.
Okay, so
We
it's
don't
in
know if
between.
Cal Kestis is dead yet.
Yeah. So, and we don't know if they're gonna have that.
I think it could be Luke, or it could
Just
be.
imagine you see the last shot of the season is robot hand, green lightsaber. Season ends.
Yeah, nah. I wouldn't say.
And then we get the casting information that Sebastian Stan is Luke. And that would be
Yeah.
cool.
I wouldn't. I think it would feel worse if it was Luke.
I don't know. I reckon they could do a job.
We'll wait.
Mandalorian,
We'll wait
if
and
they're
see.
doing one thing right, it's fan service. So I trust them.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they are doing really well.
Anyway,
The
do you
whole
guys
Boba
have
Fett
any-
thing was huge.
Closing thoughts on this episode at all?
Just give us the last episode already. That's mine.
Well, not too long to wait. Only 3 more days from the fucking time of recording.
Also, I just wanna tell everyone to watch Attack on Titan.
Oh, very good show.
Very good show. If you haven't seen it, start from the beginning. If you
Number one
if you
anime in all of Japan.
If you can stand Japanese VAs and reading subtitles, watch it in Japanese. If not,
I mean, for this, I feel like you should because it's really good. In
yeah,
Japanese.
the Japanese voice actors are fantastic.
Well, this
you
was the
should watch
first
it all.
anime that actually got me into anime. I'm pretty sure.
Fucking weird, but there's not even tits in it.
Does the... Are you
Anyway.
watching anime wrong?
That's going to do it. This has been the first ever live episode of the Slalt Cast. Caden, where can the kids find you?
Check me out in my band. I pretty much use that as a personal. It's verum.band at Instagram.
You did it! Yeah! Kobe, where can the kids find you?
You can find me on Instagram at _55 Kobe55 or at _south_bound_band. We have a gig this week, this Sunday. If you're in Sydney, come.
Yes, if you are in
What?
Sydney and you can make it to Marrickville on Sunday the 20th,
Fucking huge.
the tickets. I'll do a social post immediately after this.
If not, we've got a couple in January.
Yes, and they will be up.
Not just one, but two.
That's very pog.
And you can also find me on Twitter at Kobe_55.
And you can find me at DanielF737 on Twitter and Instagram. Be sure to follow the Slotcast at Slotcast on all of the social medias. I finally started a Facebook page.
We've
That was
got
the
a
last
Facebook.
place.
Saw that.
Don't like that.
Also, twitch.tv/Slotcast. Make sure you follow. If you're here in the live chat now, thank you. I think this worked
Thank you very
fantastically. Thank you for
Yes,
showing
well.
up tonight. Thank you for sticking around. So many of you have stuck around. So
many
hopefully
viewers
we'll
did
do
we
this
have?
next week. At the moment, we're sitting at 11.
We
that's
had
pretty
14 at one point.
That was the
That's
highest
pretty
I saw
fucking
too.
Yeah.
So make sure we stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Streams over Christmas and New Year's will be spotty, but I think the days work out where I think we have New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve are at Thursday, so there might not be Thursday streams for the next couple of weeks. But other than that, yeah, we stream games. I built that fucking Lego Baby Yoda that's behind me over right there.
I see it.
That
in
was a
the
fun
the
stream.
silhouette in the darkness.
And yeah, thank you for coming out, guys. Kobe, say something funny to end the podcast.
Kamalawama Wama.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thanks for listening. Please remember to leave a positive rating wherever you're listening from, and to follow our socials at Slotcast on Twitter and Instagram.